What up? Seth Miranda here. This is Adorama Rewind, and it's a pretty packed week. I'm pretty excited about some of this stuff. A lot of fun talking points. I'm really interested in hearing what you have to say about a bunch of this, including this one. So, a new bill would ban addictive social media tricks altering Instagram forever. Aside from that being a ton of clickbaity stuff, Senator Josh Hawley over here wants to introduce this crazy long bill. See that? All that length? Which is funny, right? Because what they're trying to eliminate is things like endless scrolling, which is funny because you can endlessly scroll through that bill. But so if on Instagram, when you're constantly scrolling through it, or Facebook, and there's no natural breaks or it doesn't stop for a little bit, they're calling that aiding in addictive behavior, as well as autoplay, where you're scrolling through content or news feeds and the videos play, probably sucking you in for just that many more minutes onto that video before you scroll past to the next one, or things like the end of a YouTube video and they serve you up like extra videos at the end for the things you might be interested in based on what you've been watching, or your watch time in general, or your liking of the videos and stuff like that, which I actually kind of like because that's how I find more creators out there and channels and videos and topics and stuff like that. They also want to end Snap Streak, which is one of these things on Snapchat that actually rewards the people using it, that use it continuously every day to send photos. Some of the stuff I'm sure has like a good heart in it, but some of it I think is a little misguided. In the end, it's up to us and our behavior. It's up to you to control your behavior, right? The addiction doesn't come from the way it's delivered to us. It comes from people always at the core wanting to be validated or check in what's going on and what's being new. When you have a conversation with someone and you know what's going on, it's usually because of what's going on in social, or you throw something up out there and you want people to comment on it, share it around, like this video, right? So I don't think it's really a matter of the way the platforms are doing it. They're just enabling as much flow of what they're putting out there for people to use it. Is there responsibility with that? Absolutely, but the responsibility is on both sides, the user and the platform, and I don't think this is really that proper. I'm curious to see how much the bill gets altered itself as it goes through. We'll see if it even gets passed. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. Do you think it's really up to the user in the end to regulate their use of social media and how they actually go about it? Of course, you know, people that grow up on it now, like that's an idea, right? That people are actually growing up on social. Is it up to the parents, right? Or is there parental guidelines that we need to put enforcing onto like YouTube watch limits and stuff like that? I'm not sure, but I do know that it's not going to get fixed with just throttling back platforms, because then another platform will come out and say and do what Instagram and Facebook are doing now until they get regulated. It's just, this could go on forever, but write me down below what you think about that. Let's go a little more uplifting and talk about Kodak. So they're bringing back photo kiosks with the M1 order station. Check this out. So they're basically saying that when you go into some place like a Walgreens or a Duane Reade or whatever, and you want to get photos printed, the machine's usually out of date, or they just are broken or aren't working properly, or people don't even think about them. They're putting things into play which are pretty interesting here. They're going to use smartphones instead of SD cards, which some machines already do, but again, they want to make it so that when you're out on a vacation or a trip or something like that, you can go hit up one of these things, print all your photos, enjoy holding a print again. You know, when's the last time you magneted one to the fridge, right? Magneted one, is that even a word? I don't know. I'll look that up after this. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool that they're trying to push back into the analog world as far as prints go from digital. I mean, how analog is that really? But I think there's something said for this. I mean, I think we've been through an era of people not having a value in actual photos because they're just ones and zeros. They flip past, they delete, they send, they forget about them. They make them into low res, don't care about the quality, things like that. Here, you get to have a trip, maybe you're with your kids, and you get to give them a print for them to like give to a friend at school the next day or something like that, or just something tangible in this world aside from the same phone that everybody else is holding. Kind of cool. Let me know what you think about that. We talked about this film scanner idea, I think either last week or the week before, and which I didn't even realize this, but Kodak actually did this, a $40 mobile film scanner, which is like Google Cardboard or like the Nintendo Labo. So here it is. It's actually a light source. It takes AA batteries. Let me see right here. So here's the light source right here. You run the negatives through it, put your phone on top. It's, you know, it's a measured distance, and it takes the photo, and then in the app you just reverse it into a positive, and that's pretty awesome. 40 bucks, and you get to just put it right into your phone and skip the whole idea of a laptop or sitting down and scanning. This is good if you're just somebody that wants to put it up somewhere or share with somebody fast. It's not like a great scan to go get museum quality prints made, obviously, but 40 bucks. And if I had kids or something like that, I would be psyched to give them something made out of cardboard that could help grow their creativity and expand their idea of what images are these days, right? That's kind of cool. I think it's amazing that we can live in a world that we can make things out of cardboard that mix with the highest end technology we have and still have something innovative. It's pretty awesome. I think Nintendo did a great job with the Labo. I think this is awesome. Google Cardboard was fun. I think it's just one of those great things. It's like when you went to a gas station as a kid, this is going to date myself, and you used to get those like styrofoam planes you'd pop out of a balsa wood or whatever and put them together and fly them. Well, now you get to take some kit off the wall, build it, and scan something with your phone. Why not? In some higher end technology news, Red has teased a new tiny camera that may use the Canon RF mount. That is a total rumor and speculation. We do not know about the mount for sure, but the CEO, Jared Land, went on to reduser.net and dropped all this spec right here, which is basically more him saying what isn't true after all the rumors. It is not DSMC3. It is not a replacement for DSMC2. It is not a module. It is not under 5K unless you own a hydrogen. It has no XLR ports. There's no fixed lens, blah, 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 blah. Check out the link below if you want to check out the full specs on that. But the Komodo Dragon is something real, obviously. I love when they tease stuff like this, and it's kind of fun when you know the CEOs and the higher ups and the actual companies are listening to what's being said out there. So I get a kick out of this kind of stuff. In some more higher tech news, scientists have created contact lenses with zoom technology with blinks. This isn't a rendering, it's not real, but the actual lenses are real. You can see here that when the voltage changes in the lens with the salty water, the lenses actually morph and give you 2.8 times zoom. You can see here they're not 100% there. They're still in their infancy, but what they're basically saying is with a double blink, it can create a zoom effect for the wearer or user, however you want to call it. I don't think this is going to hit for civilians anytime soon. It's not gonna be widespread, but I do think that this is the beginning technology for prosthetics. Like if you lost an eye, you'd have an eye that could zoom, and as opposed to just like this pretty piece of glass that might look like an eye, kind of. I think it's gonna be used in like robotics and stuff like that. Whether people will adapt to this is another story. I don't know what to make of this, to be honest with you. I know that if you lost an eye and you had the choice between a glass eye or being half cyborg, I think we'd all go cyborg, right? Skynet. I'm just saying it's pretty cool technology that even exists. They've been talking about water lenses for a long time with the shape of water inside a capsulated glass, actually changing the way light enters and leaves to magnify and stuff like that. So having one lens that can morph into a bunch of lenses, and now we're starting to see it come to life. It's kind of interesting. I don't know what it's like to be, look at this guy, all these electrodes hooked up to him. I don't know if I'd want to be a test subject for that. I can't even get regular contacts in my eye, let alone something that can zoom. But let's talk about some really fun lenses that are available. Lensbaby has expanded their lenses to have mounts for the RF and Z. So the Canon and Nikon full frame mirrorless system can now get all these guys. The Velvet 85, which is a great lens, the Classic Composer, the Trio 28, the Sol 45, all those Lensbaby lenses that you know and love that have been around for the DSLR era are now being introduced to the mirrorless Canon and Nikon line. You can get the link below. They're all available. Adorama's got them. Don't worry about that. And speaking of the Z mount, Nikon has dropped an 85mm f1.8 S line, and it is under $800. So they're doing a pretty great job of making an affordable lens line for anybody that's trying to get into their full frame mirrorless system and not going for the adapter or what have you. From what I've seen of actual test images, it looks really sharp. The bokeh looks great, but I haven't tried it myself. But it is pretty light and small, and people are going to go like, why aren't they putting out the 1.4 or 1.2 or whatever? They kind of are taking advantage of that mount with this because it's a way smaller profile for an 85mm with still a shallow depth of field. They're doing a pretty good job at it, I think. It's yet to be seen you know, this thing just came out, so I don't know how it really performs. I like to get my hands on it and check it out. If I do, I'll let you guys know. But there is some heavy rumors with some concrete evidence in the Z world. So Nikon is rumored to have a Nikon Z APS-C camera without an EVF. So these are the patented drawings for what people are calling the Z3. I don't talk about rumors a lot. I don't believe in them when it comes to actually reporting things, but this is actually patented, so it could come to life. So it's saying it's APS-C, and if you look at the scaling of it, it could be an let me see if I can get there it is. If you look at the scaling of it compared to the buttons and the shoe, it could be an APS-C size sensor, which could be a competitor to the Sony A6000 whatever line. Maybe they're going after that, or maybe they're going after just making a camera that's under a certain price point to put it out there for their mirrorless division. They tried this with the V1 and stuff like that years and years ago. I'm curious what this is all about. Are they going to create an APS-C lens line for the Z mount? This is pretty interesting to see, and I only talk about rumors when I see something concrete like this, so I'm curious. Either way, I think this is going to be a really exciting year next year. Everybody has a lot of cards on the table and some more hands to play. Oh, that was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty good. Another one of these kind of rumory things that shows some promise is DJI is working on a clone of the Hasselblad X1D. So this is a 3D rendering based off of what they're seeing out there being patented. Yeah, it looks like a really clean, minimalistic version of what Hasselblad has already put out there, and I'm sure they're going to go at it at a competitive price point. So it'll be less money than the Hasselblad. Quality level, who knows? We don't know. We've never seen DJI put out a medium format camera like this before, but they do own the most shares of Hasselblad, so who knows what's going on over there. Let me know if you're excited about that. Would you go for a clone of a Hasselblad, or do you really think that there's weight in the Hasselblad name and the legacy that it holds? Let me know about that. For all you computer heads out there, I know that we're growing that audience, especially with the Twitch channel. Nvidia unveils a new studio driver for 10-bit color for creatives. So yeah, here's why this is special. If you're a PC user, and you can see right here that the Quadro RTX card supported 30-bit color, which is 10 bits per channel. But if you had an Nvidia GeForce or Titan card, you could only get up to 24 bits, which is 8 bits per channel. So now with just this driver, you can process 10-bit color. That's pretty awesome. Right here is the link. I'll put it down below. You can see it's 542 megabytes. Download the driver and you're set to go for processing 10-bit color. That's pretty awesome if you're a PC user. I'm sure this was something, I mean, we're going into 10-bit color, right? Nikon's already doing 10-bit color on their mirrorless. We're seeing output to recorders, the Panasonic series, stuff like that. 10-bit is kind of the new thing, just like 4K became like pretty much standard out there as well too, or it's getting there pretty much. So that's pretty exciting. This one's also pretty cool. I'm a CaptureOne fan, and they're allowing third-party plugins finally, and the first one that they're letting in is Jpeg Mini, which brings file shrinking tech to CaptureOne, right? So it lets you crush down the size of your output, your JPEGs, but without losing any quality. In fact, the DP review guys said they tested it with an EOSR file, got it down to 75% reduction in file, and 30 megabyte files were shrunken down to only 7 to 8 megabytes, and they didn't see any real image quality loss. It is, I think, CaptureOne plug is bundled with $89 Jpeg Mini Pro Suite. So there's that. Check that out if you're a CaptureOne user. I know I'm going to jump on that. I think that's pretty awesome. The DP review guys did a pretty in-depth article on that. If you guys want to check out the link, and I'll put that down below and you can check it out. Speaking of some innovation stuff, because we went through a whole ton of it, I got to give it to Venus Optics, man. They've been putting out some pretty interesting lenses, and now they put out their widest rectilinear lens for Fuji GFX cameras. So this is a 17 millimeter f4, but it's pretty corrected. First of all, what a cool looking shape. I really like this company. They put out such interesting stuff. Let's go to the test images. Look at that beautiful image. So yeah, we're looking at a super wide angle lens here. That's as corrected as it can be, probably, for the how wide angle it really is. This is equivalent to maybe like a 12 to 13 millimeter, I'd say maybe even like 14 millimeter on 35 millimeter. But look at these straight lines. Look at that. On that wide of a lens, how corrected do you need that lens? This is insane. Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of warping on it. I mean, it is super, super wide, but I got to give it to him. And it's kind of cool that it came to the GFX G mount, because that's kind of a mount that's very specific to like a very few amount of cameras that are out there. We just saw the GFX 100, which I'm a fan of. I've really enjoyed using that camera. And I'm going to include this article as well. The Photographer is talking about how third-party lenses could make Fujifilm's GFX cameras unstoppable. It's a good read if you're into what's going on out there with the GFX line, if you're curious about it, or if you own some of the GFX system like the 50R, which is a lot of fun to use. Daniel's been using it a lot on his live streams. It's pretty cool. Now let's dial it back to like raw technology, which is like basically just innovation in very not high-tech ways. So someone threw this at me on my Facebook. Photorock Bar offers a more convenient way to secure your tripod. This is on the Photographer. It's a nylon casing that goes down the leg of your tripod, and you can variate the weights, but the weights don't shift if there's wind or anything. Like if you put rocks or something in a bag, there's a chance that like the spacing in the rocks could shift a little bit, causing aberration, especially at high res cameras. We just saw Sony drop a 61 megapixel sensor. You want that thing rock solid. You can add up to 7 pounds of weight into this thing. Pretty cool, about 45 bucks. If you're someone that's looking for some solution in counterweighting, this might be for you. I'm not sure. I'd have to try it out myself to say anything else about it. But I'm gonna talk about this one, which is my most exciting, personally, news. One Instant Peel Apart Film production starts early August. Peel Apart Film is coming back, and I am beyond excited. I mean, I love this stuff. I've done endless demos with it, and a lot of my work that's hanging around in my apartment is done with all this peel apart type film. And if you're someone that had a lot of large format or the instant cameras and even day labs, day labs, I got like 6 of them, and they've just been sitting around because I ran out of film. This is pretty awesome. I even just did something on 4x5 peel apart in the last boxes I had for a magazine that commissioned me, and the boxes were so old they were actually exposing at ISO 1:4. So it was like I needed a ton of light, and it was just, yeah, it was interesting, and nothing was consistent on that. But I only had 20 shots to get this job done, or I was handing that check back. So I'm excited about this. But I'm gonna show you this one really quick from the channel. Daniel's been dropping videos as he always does. But this one was really cool because he used lanterns, and I'm a big fan of lanterns, but I rarely use them, to be honest with you, especially for fast jobs and things like that. I just don't have a chance to get as creative as I would like. But I thought this was really cool because he's like the king of weird modifiers that people kind of forget about. And if you guys check this out, there's the lantern, and he's shooting with Marissa, and he's showing you how he can use it in multiple ways. And then he drags in some V-flats and shows you how he can get like a different look and feel to the images with just like not even moving the lights and stuff like that. And I think that's really important. So check the video out. I'll put the link down below. I'm gonna give you guys a question of the week, and it's pretty much this. Let me preamble it a little bit. I'm going through massive gear upgrades in my own kit right now, and I remember years and years ago when I was first starting out in the film era, I needed wide angle lenses for the BMX and skateboarding I was shooting at the beginning of my career, and I had to make a lot of sacrifices, getting extra jobs, working extra hours, and selling off a lot of key things that I really held a lot of value in, like my comic book collection, which sounds stupid and juvenile, but when you had the first appearance of Venom in Spider-Man 300, and that was something you read at an important time in your life, and you really connected with it, especially at a younger age, it had a lot of weight in your life, and to get rid of things like that left a hole in my chest. And it's kind of crazy for material objects to do that, right? But it wasn't until a few years ago that I was able to buy back every single key book that I ever let go of, and some other things that I sold along the ways to build the kit that helped me build my career. So my question of the week to you guys is, what are some of the sacrifices you've made to kind of get yourself to the next level? It's not always about gear, but sometimes it's about just getting the time together to go practice, go shoot, get your friends together, find locations, scout, think about the next level, get yourself conceptually there, or just get yourself to find time to go to demos and workshops and stuff like we do here at Adorama. I always see people here in the crowd tell me their story, and I'm wondering what you guys in YouTube land are, because I have no idea who I'm talking to at the time when I'm looking at this lens, right? So write me down below. Let me know what your big sacrifice has been to get forward with your kit, your career, yourself, leveling yourself up. I'm really curious about that. I will say that if you're someone that's going through the sacrifice right now, when you get to that level and you are able to repair whatever you've lost to get yourself where you want to be, it is one of the most satisfying moments in your career, hands down. I do not regret one thing that I let go of my life for where I got to today. And when I got to hold the things that I let go that I thought were so important to me, again, after letting them go and acquiring them again, I just remember feeling like that really was a feeling of making it. Forget about contracts, forget about someone telling you you're awesome, forget about paychecks. Being able to build back what you gave up to be where you're at is just immeasurable. And I hope if you are going through that sacrifice, you don't give up and you really give yourself the chance to feel that moment, because there's nothing like it on earth. All right, I'm gonna leave you guys there. As always, let's aid some social addiction and hit like, share this video around, hit a bunch of stuff all around me. I don't know, let me know what you think about that, Bill, though. I'm curious about that. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.